Oh, we're going, I guess.
When you accidentally slip and hit the start button, I guess we're going here. Very professional.
Let's just.
All right, well, welcome to Road to 272 episodes, or week 4. Yeah, week 4.
5.
Week 5. Holy crap. Starting this too early, apparently.
Well, apparently.
Me too.
What do you got there, Trent?
I got the coffee steeped bourbon.
Ooh. Did you see the honey stuff I tagged you on the other day?
I did. Might have to keep my eye out for that one.
I have to finish this bottle up, and then I will be adding that to my liquor cabinet. So
Oak and Eden, by the way, people.
Oak and Eden. I've got the Wheat Inspire, the Sturgis Specialty. And Bryant, did you crack into your Crown Royal collection? It looked like you had quite the thing going on there.
No, I'll be honest. Right now, I'm kind of trying to. I'm in the mode of trying to clear out as much from my cabinets and my fridge as possible. So right now, I got Appaloosa from Barntown here. So hazy IPA and citrus. It's pretty good.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well, we are on to week 5. I didn't see the results. I guess I know I'm on the bottom. I did not have a good week at all last week. You two up on top, it looks like. It sounds like.
Yep. So I would say last week, Joey actually he won the week. He was 11-5, picking money lines here. Trent was a close second. If it would have been, it actually came down to the last game. If the Rams would have won, he would have been 11-5. But he ended the week money line 10-6. I was 8-7 with one push. Clark was 7-9, and then Ryan, you went 5-11 just on last week's. And then, just the overall right now, me and Trent are tied actually right now in first at 36-27 overall through 4 weeks. Joey is second right now, or third, I guess, at 35-28. Clark is 30-33. And then, Ryan, you're at 27-36 on the year so far.
All right. Well, I feel like this week is going to change.
Absolutely. Got to have that PVO, positive vibes only.
Yep. So I'm kind of Trent started this a little bit before I was ready, so I'm kind of trying to catch up on my data here. I will do that while you guys are talking.
Did not mean to click on go live. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's just counting down from 3. Like, oh, here we go.
Hey, that's all right. Let's start with the Thursday night game here. Excuse me. We got Colts versus Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites. The total is 42. I'll start it off just so I can get to entering my other stuff here. I'm pulling an Archer there. I'm taking the Broncos. Broncos -3. Oh no, I'm not taking the Broncos. I'm taking the under 43.5. Jonathan Taylor is out. The Colts are only scoring 14.3 points per game, and that was with their stud running back, which they haven't really been using. The Broncos are only scoring 16.5 points. Also, the Broncos defense is pretty stout. They're the 5th best defense when it comes to points allowed. So yeah, I'm going with the under 43.5. Bryant, go ahead.
Jonathan Taylor is out.
Yeah. Yep.
He's not playing this game.
Yep.
Real quick, where are you getting the 43.5 for?
Oh, I already put my bets in on Tuesday. So that's what I got. Sorry, that's what I got it at. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to see. But yeah, I would still take the under 42.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure because that's where I was like looking at just the latest when I was doing this like an hour ago. So, okay.
Yep.
So these are just what you've put in on Tuesday already. So
yeah.
So that extra 1.5 there.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of things. If you hop in, right after Monday night, there are some good lines that you can get. Now, sometimes you can screw yourself over, but from what I've seen the last couple weeks, there's a couple things that would have saved my butt if I would have done it right away on Tuesday. But
Vegas having more time to put in all their models and stuff, I suppose. But right now, I have the under 42 as well. Right now, and basically the exact same thing that you said. Denver is top 5 in the scoring defense. Indianapolis is 13th. Really, and on top of no running back to help Matt Ryan right now. It's going to be which Matt Ryan? Is it going to be the Kansas City Matt Ryan that shows up and is playing hero ball? And then the other thing is just Russ has looked terrible this year so far. I mean, even one of their wins was 11-10. So I mean, I'm not really feeling too confident on the Broncos being to cover any. I mean, with neither team, I'm not feeling good about them being able to cover, and their offenses are just putrid on top of good defenses.
I was listening to Pat McAfee today, and he had Michael Lombardi on there. And he used to be a GM for the Patriots. He did a lot of stuff, and he does a lot of betting stuff now too. He brought up a good point with Russell Wilson, where he's not doing his typical run around, scramble, and make plays available type thing. Like his rushing yards are way down. He's tried to turn into a pocket passer, which is what he wanted to do the last couple of years in Seattle. But their offensive line just didn't allow that. And that's a great point. I didn't even think of that. And yeah, he's just not doing what he did in the past. He was such a good improviser. He was like the Ryan Stiles of QB improvisation. I don't know if you get that reference or not, but
whose line is it anyway?
There you go. There you go. Trent, what do you got there?
Yeah, so I have Denver on this one, money line, obviously, because I'm picking all money lines here. Got Denver. Yeah, me and Brett, we were talking about that at lunch today because he is a Denver fan, and we were talking about, Russ Wilson, and he's really hasn't been allowed to do, I wouldn't say allowed, but he hasn't done what he did in Seattle, which, like you said, is get out of the pocket, run around, throw a huge pass, across the field and just make plays. Indy, yeah, without Jonathan Taylor hasn't done a whole lot this year. I think he had one good game. You never know what you're going to get from them. I mean, like I said, their only win is against Kansas City, and last week Kansas City showed that they're probably the best team in the AFC right now. So, but I hope we get the bad Indy this week because I got Denver.
Yeah, and I think the other. Yeah, there's nothing that I don't know how they beat Kansas City. Kansas City must have just overlooked them and just said, no, we're not going to worry about studying our big game. We've got Tom Brady next week. We're not going to pay attention. And that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know.
It was definitely one of those classic trap games.
Yeah.
No, it was because a defensive lineman said something mean to
Matt Ryan. They probably would have won if it weren't for that. Yeah. No abusive language this game, guys. Yeah.
Well, and I agree with Steven as well. He just says not a good pocket passer, bad system for him as well. So
yeah, I think that agreed. I believe Joey and Clark also took Denver money line, if I remember correctly.
See, this would be one of the games where, as much as we're going to give you shit the rest, well, once you start getting better records, Joey and Trent, then we're going to start making fun of the money line picks. But this is one of those games I would definitely not want to be doing money line. Both of them suck equally.
Yeah.
The only saving grace for Denver is their defense looks awesome. That's kind of their thing. All right, game 2, Giants at Green Bay. This is the London game. We got the Green Bay Packers are 8.5-point favorites. The total is 40.5. I took the Giants +8. I got them at +8. It'd be nice to have that half point, but let's look at my notes here. We've got Giants are actually outscoring the Packers at 19 points per game versus 18.8. So their offenses have been very similar. Their defenses are also quite similar. I believe the Packers are allowing a few less yards, but as far as points allowed, they've been very, very similar. I think Green Bay's schedule has probably been a little tougher, but on paper, these guys are very, very close. Dabble seems to have something going in New York. It seems like the team's doing really well. Saquon is an absolute beast right now. Looks like Daniel Jones is going to be playing. He practiced full today. So, yeah, Giants at +8. Get that 8.5 if you can. Trent, what do you got?
I've got Green Bay on this one. I think Green Bay last week against the Patriots, I believe it was, they looked good. Would they score half 100 points? I mean, they scored a ton of points. I don't know what it was.
27-24.
Is that what it was? Yeah. It was a good game. So their defense kind of scares me because they're playing a backup rookie, correct, from New England.
Bailey Zappi.
So, but I still think Green Bay can hold the Giants here. And, NFC North is ruling London right now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got the under in this one, -40.5 here. That's a pretty low under, but the more I'm looking at it right now, I mean, for both of these teams, the under is not only it's 6-2 for these two this year, but it should be 7-1. They missed it by half a point. The other thing is both these teams are I had top 10 in scoring defense. I believe the Giants are 15th. I don't know where I got top 10, but I would say both defenses have been pretty stout. I'm feeling pretty good about. I do think Packers win. I'm really not confident in that 8.5. I just think it's going to be another pounded out game.
Yeah. Joey took Green Bay money line. Clark took the spread with me on this one with the Giants 8.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. As a Vikings fan, it's very frustrating that it doesn't seem like any other teams can beat them in the regular season besides the Vikings. So it'd be nice if someone would actually beat Green Bay for once.
Absolutely.
All right, next game, Detroit at New England. Let's see what their line is.
Pulling it up here. There you go.
Detroit
right.
+3.
Detroit +3.
Yep.
Total is 45.5.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bryant. What's your thoughts on this one?
Over 45.5. Only note I have is Detroit's #1 in scoring and last in scoring defense. If it's not one, if they're not both in those, I mean, it's what was last week, 48-45. I mean, Detroit has definitely been. I think their offense is really starting to go, and you got to remember, New England does have a backup quarterback, but he was doing pretty good versus Packers when he was in there. So I think the over is going to hit pretty easy.
There's a mistake to not let him throw on first or second down in overtime. They went with the classic Mike Zimmer run, pass, punt situation there in overtime. But
yeah.
I'm with you there. I took the over. The Lions have 6 straight overs. I don't see that changing. Like you said, best offense, worst defense. New England's kind of so on both. So yeah, I think the 45.5 is going to cover. Trent, who do you got?
I have Detroit in this one. I mean, they're a 3-point underdog in this. I don't see it. Detroit, like I said, they've been putting up a ton of points. Maybe, their last scoring defense, maybe that's what they need is a backup rookie quarterback. Maybe that's what they need to see on the field. So I took Detroit in this one. I mean, they've been close to winning most of their games. Like, they got to get one here.
Yeah. Yep. Joey took Detroit money line. Clark has Detroit at +3. Next game. This has to be my second least favorite game this week. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Buffalo 14-point favorites. Total is 46.5. I haven't been saying a lot of terribly positive things about Pittsburgh the last couple weeks. Just that I just don't think they're that great. Their defense isn't that great. 2 touchdowns is amazingly big. That's a ton of points. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh +14. Main reason is you got the whole Kenny Pickett factor. We don't know what he's gonna get. He didn't look half bad when he came in. I think they're going to kind of rally behind him. that's just so many points. So many points. So yeah, I'm going with Pittsburgh plus 14. Bryant, what do you got?
I had both. Because I'm going to decide in real time. I had Buffalo covering, and I had minus 46.5 here. I think I'm going to go with the under 46.5. I mean, right now Pittsburgh's allowing 252 yards passing yards per game, and one of them was against Joe Burrow, but the other three are Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, and the first game for Zach Wilson. I mean, Steelers stink. I think with Buffalo, they're coming off of. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, I just want to make sure they just pulled off a narrow victory versus Baltimore, losing to Miami. I think Buffalo comes out. They're going to try and make a statement game out of this. But the other thing you got to remember with Pittsburgh is Trubisky was out last week, and now you're going to have a Kenny Pickett in the game. I don't trust it.
Yeah, for me, I always think, when you make a change like that, I feel like the team can maybe get behind that and maybe rally, and they can put up one good performance. But like I said, this is my second least favorite game this week. So, Trent, I'm assuming you're taking Buffalo.
I am taking Buffalo. I do like your point about, a team making a change and they rally behind it. The other team doesn't have a whole lot of tape on this guy. So it's a little harder to game plan, I believe. But
how do you game plan for the half slide and then run?
That's cheating. You can't do that anymore. But yeah, I think Buffalo probably blows them out here.
Yeah, I'm not happy with this pick, but gosh, 2 touchdowns is a lot. Yeah. Clark took the 2 touchdowns with Buffalo, and Joey took the Buffalo money line. So I'm gonna guess you're gonna, on that $5 bet, Trent, you're gonna make about 30 cents on that one.
Let me look. I think it was only like 82 cents or something like that. So yeah. Naturally, Pittsburgh's winning this game.
Yeah. Trent going all in on that minus 900 money line favorite. Golly, how do you? Hopefully, he pulls it out.
I'm opening the FanDuel app here to see what it was. It was something crazy.
What do you normally bet? 5?
I bet $5 on every game.
You get 60 cents back.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Whew. Don't spend it all in one place, my friend.
No. It's minus 900. I get 56 cents.
Oh, nice.
Is what I got it at.
Very nice.
Yeah, the verified bet is minus 835 on my Action Network. So,
next game, Miami at the New York Fighting Breece Halls, the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to know about the Jets.
That's all you need to know. He scored the game-winning touchdown last week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure did.
Yep. Rookie of the year right there.
At over 100 yards.
Yep. Miami favorites by 3, total 45.5. I took the Jets. What are my notes here? Took the Jets. Miami is allowing 70 yards per more 70 yards more per game on their defense. Tua is out. I love Teddy. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I'll always love Teddy. Great guy. I just don't know if I can trust. I can trust him to win a game, but not dominate a game. And Zach Wilson came in, won his first game back, and I think he's only going to get better. So yeah, I got the Jets at plus 3.5. So Trent, who are you taking there? Are you going with Miami or the Fighting Breece Halls?
So this pains me as an Iowa State fan to say I'm going against the Fighting Breece Halls here. I did take Miami. This is one of those games this week that for me was a coin flip. Because of Teddy. If Tua was playing and he wasn't hurt, all that stuff, I think Miami easily wins this game. But I like Teddy. I bought Teddy Bridgewater's jersey. I liked him so much as a Vikings fan. I think he is solid enough. I think he's a game manager enough to beat the Jets. But we'll see. Like you say, Wilson's back, and he's making plays. Breece Hall's finally looking comfortable as an NFL back. So I think it'll be a good game. And like I said, this is a toss up for me. This is a coin toss, but I took the Dolphins on this one.
So real quick. One, Trent, if you have a Bridgewater jersey, if they win, I want you to be wearing that next week when we're doing our picks here. You should be repping that.
All right. Dolphins win. I will wear my Vikings Teddy Bridgewater jersey next Wednesday on this podcast.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I have Miami -3, and I mean they're going to win. I guess real quick, in case you can't read, can you read what my shirt says?
Oh yeah.
Good teams win, great teams cover. That is Teddy Bridgewater to a T. Teddy Bridgewater in his career is 24-6 against the spread on away games, and he covers 67% of the time. So I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback because he covers.
He's elite.
He is elite. He's elite. The Jets, they get a last-second win versus Trubisky, who got kicked out of the game, and Pickett. I'm not convinced the Jets are that good yet. I love Breece Hall, but Miami wins and they cover.
It's good confidence there. Joey took Miami. Yeah, Joey took Miami money line, and Clark went with me on the Jets +3. So, all right, next game, Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Tampa's at 8.5-point favorites. Total is 48. Trent, why don't you start here?
So the Falcons won me some money last week, and Tom Brady might have a little something else on his mind other than football this week. Just, I guess, might be a little distracted. I still went with Tampa Bay though. Sorry, Atlanta. Don't bet against Tom Brady. I don't know. Maybe he'll play good. They'll score a bunch of points because he's pissed off. I don't know.
What was Tom Brady distracted with? Do you see that pool video with Antonio Brown?
Yeah. Yep.
Playing with his pool noodle.
Yep. Had nothing to do with Giselle. Nothing.
Yeah. I have Tampa Bay covering 8.5. Tampa Bay's starting to get healthy here. Tom Brady. This is an odd stat because everyone is going to throw to you all week. Atlanta's 4-0 against the spread. Atlanta's 4-0 against the spread. Guess what? I think half of the teams that are 4-0 against the spread in college football lost it last week. So that doesn't mean it's going to continue. Tom Brady, when he faces against teams that are undefeated against the spread since 2004, he's 15-6 against those teams against the spread. He is also 43-17 against the spread off of a straight-up loss, and 8-2 against the spread off of a multi-game losing streak. Tampa Bay covers.
There's a lot of confidence there.
Yeah.
You were throwing out those Mike Tomlin confident stats too, and those didn't come through. So
those are the only ones that really haven't come through so far this year. These Steelers kind of stink. You also got to remember those are all stats with Ben Roethlisberger, and he ain't here no more. So
yeah. Clark and I are on the same side of things. We're at the +8.5 with Atlanta. Seems like the Falcons are actually playing pretty well. They're leading in yards and points per game by a pretty decent amount actually against these teams. Again, I feel like Tampa has probably had a tougher schedule, but they are leading in those stats by quite a bit. And just with the eye test, Tampa Bay just doesn't look right. They just don't look like they're gelling. I don't know. Still a lot of issues with that offensive line. And like Trent said, there's a little bit going on with that AB video that Tom's kind of distracted with. So yeah, I'm going to take that 8.5. I think that's a lot of points for a divisional game anyway.
He's studying that film long and hard.
Yeah, that's right. Any team would be lucky to have him, that's for sure. So Clark and I took the +8.5, and Homer Joey going with Atlanta money line.
Real quick, Cordarrelle Patterson, who's been one of their better players this year, is also out on the IR. So
yeah,
you got to throw that in there as well.
They'll figure it out. One player doesn't make a team, right?
Sure. Let's see what happens next Sunday then.
That's the Cordarrelle Patterson who was named a bust for the Vikings. That guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now he's just a gadget player and doing everything for him over in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting to be honest. We got Seattle at New Orleans. New Orleans 5.5-point favorites. Total is 46. I'm not on cue with you guys. I took the Seahawks plus 5.5. New Orleans still dealing with injury issues. Geno looking like a guy. Man, he's looking good. I think he's surprising a lot of people. Seahawks are scoring 4.8 points per game more. Saints just unhealthy players. Kamara, I'm guessing he'll be back, but how will he be 100%? I don't know. And they're just coming off of a long travel from London after a heartbreaking loss. So just taking those things into account, yeah, I took Seahawks plus 5.5. Bryant.
I have Seattle plus 5.5 as well here. My notes just say Saints injured and traveling back from London on a short week. Typically, they try and give these teams bye weeks in between. So any team that is post their London games without a bye week, they're 2-2-1 against the spread and 2-3 straight up. The favorites in those games, which the Saints are, they're 1-1 against the spread and straight up. I just think with Seattle not having to travel, the injuries, I think Seattle covers this one.
Yeah. Trent?
Yeah, I have New Orleans in this, and I thought the same thing about. I was like, they're traveling back from London.
Mhm.
I was like, but Alvin Kamara's coming back. He almost came back, I think, last week before the London game, but they held him out. So I was like, I don't know, maybe one more week rest for him. But then this was another tough one for me. But I just, New Orleans is at home, so I took New Orleans on this one. I mean, when does Geno Smith become Geno Smith again? Like, I think that New Orleans defense isn't that bad, so I took the Saints.
But I mean, the Saints are a late comeback win by 1 point at the Falcons from being 0-4 right now. I mean, I just don't think this is the Saints of the years past we've seen where Sean Payton or Drew Brees. I think they're kind of in the shitter right now, to be honest.
They haven't started paying players to hurt others yet, so
they've kind of gone downhill since that. What they call those the good old days.
The good old days, yeah. Joey has Seattle winning it, and Clark is going with New Orleans winning it.
Of course, Joey has Seattle winning this. He hates New Orleans.
Joey's had quite a few New Orleans bets, though.
Yeah.
So far. There's one thing about Joey is I don't think he lets that bother him. I think I'm worse at that than he is, to be honest. Yeah. Basically, I could have said Bounty Gate, Seattle plus 5.5.
That's what you should have said.
No one would blame the Vikings fan for that either.
No. All right. Next game, Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 7-point favorites. Total is 43.5. Trent, go ahead.
Got Jacksonville here. I think Houston is absolutely awful. Jacksonville, they're not bad, and I like to see it. They've been pretty much the whole NFL's punching bag for the last decade or so. So I like seeing them succeed now with Trevor Lawrence. Never had a reason to not like him. So I hope Jacksonville keeps this going too. Like, I got them winning this week. What would that put their record at if they won this?
3-2, I think.
I just had it up here. They would be 3-2. Yeah, so over 500. Like, outside of like week 1 or 2, when was the last time Jacksonville was over 500? It's probably been a while. So
Blake Bortles.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, when they were in the
AFC Championship. Yeah, not too long ago. So,
but that was like their one year. That was basically it.
Yep. So I got Jacksonville in this.
Bryant, what do you got?
I have the over 43.5 on this one. The over is 2-2 this year versus Houston, 3-1 for Jacksonville this year. The only loss on when Jacksonville didn't hit the over was when they shut out Indianapolis 24-0. It is 3-1 the last 2 seasons in these two head-to-head, but Houston is 5-0 straight up against Jacksonville the last 5 games. I just think with this one, I don't know what it is about Houston. I'm going to go over 43. Honestly, the dumb thing it sounds like is I've had a lot of unders and a few more that are coming up here. I got to get a couple overs in here. I hate cheering for no points in the NFL. It just makes the game terrible.
Yeah.
Like I said, life's too short to bet the unders, Bryant.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I took Jacksonville -7. The Jaguars are scoring 26.3 points per game. Houston scoring 18.3. I think Doug Peterson has that team turned around. They're looking pretty good. And the Texans, they just aren't great. I don't know what they need to do to turn things around, but I don't think they're going to get their first win this week, and I don't think it's going to be that close. The other two guys took Jacksonville money line.
Gotcha.
Easy peasy, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of them. To be honest, I like Jacksonville's story. I like Houston's story as well. I'm just not confident either because either one of them can pull out the surprising upset. I will be honest though, Trent, when you're talking about a team that had a second-year quarterback that was shocking and everyone wants the story to continue, I wasn't sure if you're talking about Jacksonville or if you're talking about the Kansas Jayhawks, my friend.
Yeah. What do you got? We got Tennessee at Washington. Tennessee 2.5-point favorites. The total 42.5. This one is the toilet bowl of the week. This game sucks. Both these teams suck. I took the over 42.5. Both have bottom 5 defenses or bottom 10 defenses. Derrick Henry looks like he kind of was back to his former self last week. All kind of depends on which Carson Wentz you get. Are you going to get Carson that throws 4 touchdowns, or are you getting Carl that throws 4 interceptions? Which Wentz are we getting? I think both these teams are not good. I think we could I think we can go 21-22. I think we can get a game like that. So, I went with the over 42.5. Bryant.
I have Tennessee covering 2.5. Seems like a small enough cover for them. Tennessee, they're 2-2 against the spread, and that includes a 41-7 Buffalo loss. Which that one again, I think we can all agree Buffalo is probably consensus top 3 maybe right now in the league. I mean, they've looked a little off versus Miami and Baltimore, which are up there as well, but. I really don't blame Tennessee for being blown out like that. They played a perfect game that night in Buffalo. They are also, I would say they're 2-2 straight up as well this year. But again, I always point it back. They're a missed field goal from 3-1 versus the Giants. So that's a little bit fluky. Right now, the Washington is 1-3 against the spread, and they've lost their last 3. I just think with Tennessee, whose quarterback played receiver at Texas A&M, I think Tennessee covers.
He did?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Well, A&M quite a few years ago.
Never heard it before.
Shit, were they in the SEC yet? How long has Tannehill been in the league?
I think they were in the SEC then. Well, maybe not.
See, I mean, I think it's like right on the edge there, dude.
Because Tannehill, the Tannehill's on his, he was with the Dolphins first, and
college 2007 is when he started it, or when he was first at Texas A&M.
So they would have still been in the Big 12 then.
Yeah.
Nobody left the Big 12 until like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, so he would have been that. This is a Big 12 wide receiver that's playing quarterback now in the NFL. So
it's a big
pretty
deal.
impressive, in my opinion.
Yep.
Trent, who do you got?
I have Tennessee on this one. Like you said, Derrick Henry finally looked himself last week. Maybe he's finally starting to hit his groove here. That's why I went with that. Just because if he does start to find himself and hit that groove, he is the game. Like, he is such a difference maker. In Washington, besides what they won their first game, they're a 3-game losing streak. They look terrible. Although they look terrible at football. Those jerseys they had last week, did anybody else notice those? Those were sweet. Black with the yellow numbers. I don't know if they got the University of Iowa's permission to wear their colors or not, but they were awesome.
We don't get to wear black alternates without advising the University of Iowa, who stole their jerseys from the Steelers.
So they must have gave them permission.
Yeah.
But those things were fantastic. That should just be their home uni every week now.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, but get rid of the maroons.
But Trent, Hayden Fry wrote a letter to the Steelers, so they gave us permission. That's the cool thing about the Iowa jersey.
Why does anybody need to write a letter to anybody about any colors? Because nobody owns those colors. Like, I don't get that argument either.
He's a man of class. The locker rooms are pink, Trent. Psychology, don't you know?
Okay.
They look like winners.
My hat is pink. I mean, what's that got to do with anything?
I'm timid right now. I definitely don't want to tackle any Hawkeyes now.
You know my picks are good. Okay.
Bryant, that's a black and white shirt. Did you get approval for that?
I would say a little more charcoal. Honestly, my camera just sucks, but I ain't writing for approval either.
I'm guessing we might see something on Twitter about that Saturday because Iowa State is wearing blacks Saturday night, aren't they?
I hope so.
That will be the very first tweet to a picture. Oh, did Iowa State get permission to wear our colors?
Mm-hmm. Oh, little brother Cyclones wearing black just like big brother. Forget that we lost this year. Big brother, little brother. That is just what it is every fucking time, man.
Sorry I got you on that, Bryant. Not even the college football pod. Sorry.
Which is tomorrow live at 8:30 as well.
We can continue this rant tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We'll continue. We'll move on. Keep the NFL moving.
Yeah.
The other guys took Tennessee also, so we can move on.
Is Joey going to be on tomorrow, by the way? Like, is it going to be the Cyclone podcast tomorrow, or are we going to get a Hawkeye here?
We need some positivity because we might get down in the dumps reminiscing about Kansas. So
I was lucky enough not to watch it. So
you really are.
All right, Chicago at Minnesota. Minnesota 7-point favorites. Total is 44. I hated betting on this game, but I took Minnesota covering the spread. Chicago's just, I hate it. They always play so close to each other. But Chicago, this is the worst Chicago team I've seen. They've got to be the worst 2-2 team out there. I don't like the stats. I don't like the stats that you had about teams coming back from London. That didn't make me feel great. But this is also the healthiest injury report the Vikings have had in a few weeks too. So that's a positive. And I think the home field advantage will really bring us across the finish line there. So yeah, I'm taking the touchdown there. Bryant.
I'm going to kind of like everyone's starting to ride the Atlanta Falcons covering every week. I'm going to ride Justin Fields underperforming until that horse is dead. I know we have Minnesota traveling back with no bye, which I think if anything is going to help not produce any offense. But Fields, let's remind you, an Ohio State quarterback, Fields, he has hit the under. He is 10-4 all time as a starter. He is 5-0 when the over under is above 43 points, which is not a lot. He is just awful. The Bears' offense is awful. I think we're going to catch probably a little bit more tired Minnesota team under 44. Hammer it.
The nice thing is they're sleeping at home every day this week, so maybe that'll help out. As I think I saw they're averaging 19 pass plays a game. Like, do they just not trust them or what?
Weren't there receivers with more catches than the whole Bears team has after 4 weeks?
Kupp has more catches than Fields has caught passes, I think.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
So I'm not feeling too good about this Bears offense. They can't put it together, man, and I don't think they figured out versus Minnesota either.
Maybe this is 1 or 2 years too soon to make the judgment, but I'm pretty happy we didn't get Ryan Poles right away.
Mm-hmm.
Trent? Go ahead, Bryant. No, go ahead.
Cooper Kupp receptions 42, Justin Fields completions 34. Hammer the under.
8 more. That's insane.
That's nuts.
Um, I've got Minnesota here. I got to be a homer. You're talking about teams traveling back and forth from London. This was insane to me. Like when I was watching the game Sunday morning, they said that the Vikings flew over there like Thursday night into Friday morning. So like 2 days before the game. I figured they would like leave their game Sunday, fly to London, like get acclimated to the time change. So like their bodies aren't acclimated to the time change. So they're literally to their body, they're kicking off a game at 8:30 in the morning. So I would think that would be a way bigger difference than them coming home, because I'm guaranteeing they get done with that game Sunday afternoon their time. They get on a plane. They're probably back in the States Sunday evening now, our time. So they have a whole week to, like they it's just weird to me that they flew over there like on a Friday or 2 days before. So now that they've had a whole week probably back home, I like Minnesota. Yeah, Chicago's awful. Like Ryan said, they're probably the worst 2-2 team ever. Like, how are they 500? 34 completions all year. Just awful. David Montgomery, come on, get him off that team. Get him in Minnesota. I like Minnesota's finally finding a way to win these close games at the end, whereas in the past, how many times have been kicked in the nuts, Ryan?
How many times did Kirk Cousins get shit on only for him to lead us to be ahead at the end of the game, only for our defense to blow it? Because magically Kirk Cousins plays linebacker, cornerback, safety, defensive line, all that stuff. So it's nice for us to actually pull those wins out. And he's not even playing near as good as what he did last year. He actually last few games, he has not looked great. But if you saw the video of him wearing some chains with some ice on there, that guy's
got the spinner.
Yeah.
No, I like being on the winning end of these games now.
It's nice. We lost so many games last year. Well, we talked about it. We set records for most points allowed in the final 2 minutes of games. Right now, I hate how soft our defense is playing. Quarterbacks are able to just play catch with their wide receivers, but we're letting teams score so much less than last year. That's the big thing. We've had the bend don't break mentality the last 5 years, and that's including this year. And finally, we're not really breaking.
See, I'm going to tell you as well. I guess first off, yes, I agree that the big thing is we don't allow a touchdown the last 2 minutes of every single half. You tend to win a lot more games. But going back to the Kirk Cousins flicking his bling, I can tell you when you're winning, you don't get to make fun of that guy because that guy just kicked your ass. So if you keep winning, he can keep doing shit like that. But I'm going to tell you, the first time Kirk is flicking some necklace and they lose, the internet will go after him so hard because they couldn't, because he's winning so much this year.
Yeah, this is the first year he started out 3-1, which is kind of crazy to me. But you look at his career, the last 2 seasons in Minnesota, we've had the 30th and 31st ranked defense. Again, somehow that's his fault. When he was in Washington, same thing. I don't think he ever had a defense that was above 27th. So it's like, yeah, maybe he's not good enough to put games over the edge like an Aaron Rodgers. But man, if you have one of the top 5 worst defenses in the league, that's going to be tough for anybody to get over.
No, I agree. And we've talked about it a little bit more on our Monday pod. I mean, it is going to astound you guys because, again, you're starting 1-3, 2-2 every year. When you are a top and you can just it just feels so much better when you're just coasting. Okay, we're just going to keep winning like we have, compared to, oh my God, we're 1-3 and yeah, we lost the tough games, but now you're just crawling back to the Packers. And like you said, no one beats the Packers in the regular season. You have to start on top. So
yeah,
you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm not having a heart attack every weekend because we're giving up a touchdown at the last 2 minutes. And oh my God, we're 7-1 and we control our destiny. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, and I know they don't mean anything, but looking at power rankings this week, the Vikings are outside of the top 10 on most power rankings, and they're 3-1. almost every power ranking has Green Bay at number 4. Okay, you've lost to the Vikings. You almost lost in overtime to a third string quarterback against a not great New England team. New England didn't even know who was calling their offensive plays until week 1. And I just hate how people drool over Green Bay. And that is why, I'm a terrible fan that just can't stand Green Bay's fan base and Green Bay's organization because of just crap like that.
Just let him keep being the favorite, because when the underdog wins, it's that much better restored, my friend.
Yeah. The best thing is every time we beat the Packers, oh, you won your Super Bowl. Well, we've won our Super Bowl 4 out of the last 5 times, I guess. Good for us.
You're preaching the choir when you say that, Ryan.
Oh yeah, you guys get that too. Yep. Gosh, that's the stupidest thing. Like, yeah, we won our Super Bowl. You guys haven't won your Super Bowl either for over a decade, and you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like,
our Super Bowls are the actual Super Bowl. Shut the fuck up. Win your division. You know what I'm saying? Just
go.
Quit acting like every game you lose, we didn't care. We didn't want to be there.
Go hang out in Entitled Town and eat your cheese and gravy, and we'll see you in December when we play you next.
There we go.
You say eating cheese and gravy like it's a bad thing.
Sorry, now you got me. I feel like Bryant right now just ranting against Packers.
We're a pro poutine podcast. Everyone out there, I'm sorry, one of us isn't, but
shoot. Sorry, yeah, we're gonna be in the doghouse with our new partnership right away.
Probably.
All right, let's move on before I declare war with Wisconsin by the end of the night. I was telling somebody a story about this weekend about when I went and visited you in Ames, and how usually when I drink, I'm a pretty happy person, but that tree frog made me almost declare war between Iowa and South Dakota.
Oh my God. Yeah. That'll do that to a person that drink.
I was so pissed off that you wouldn't let me go and get burritos that night. You're like, we can have them delivered. Screw you. I want to walk 10 blocks and get them.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't had a tree frog since Nam.
Yeah.
What was in that thing? There's like 7 different liquors, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
That's all you need to know. That's why it got you to that level.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure it out. Like, obviously, one liquor I'm okay with, 2 mixed I'm fine with. What's the number that I get to where I'm like, okay, this is Happy Ryan, and this is declare war with the neighboring state Ryan?
I think it's 3, and in that there was 7. So Ryan wanted to walk from West Hy-Vee to Welch to get a burrito at like 2 in the morning. So
yeah, no, not about.
Especially when they can deliver,
Well, and we were at the tree frog bar, and there was somebody from Spearfish there, and I think me and him talked for like a half hour about how much better South Dakota is than Iowa in a bar in Iowa. Not one of my best nights.
You were outnumbered.
Oh, it was bad. So yeah, I apologize to the state of Iowa for trying to declare war with you.
About time. 11 years later.
All right, let's move on here. Chargers versus Cleveland Browns. Chargers are 2.5 point favorites. Total is 47.5. Go ahead, Bryant.
So, I'm sorry, I'll be honest. You kind of caught me off guard there by saying the Cleveland Browns. I was just thinking of Family Guy there. I was just like Cleveland Browns. No, I got Chargers covering -2.5 here. Los Angeles Chargers are 3-0 against the spread with Herbert, only 1-0 without. They're 0-1 without him. So I mean, they're undefeated with their starting quarterback. 3-0 straight up and 2-1 against the spread versus Cleveland since 2017. The overs this year are 5-3 with these two. So I was looking at the over. You don't know what Jacoby Brissett is going to be able to put out there. Chargers cover with ease.
I'm with you. I took the cover with the Chargers. For me, this was more of a eye test, gut feeling thing where the Browns look like a team where they look like they could be kind of trending down for some reason. And Herbert's getting healthier. I think he was full participation in practice. So, yep, I am with you on the cover for the Chargers. Trent, what about you? I've
got Chargers in this one. I mean, I'm still taking Nick Chubb every week in fantasy because
Hell yeah.
outside of Nick Chubb, Cleveland doesn't have much. So he's still going to dominate, get his 100 yards and his touchdown, and still manage to lose the game. So I got the Chargers.
I have him on my fantasy team as well, Trent, and all I can say is Nick Chubb gives me a stick Chubb. He gets me like 20, 25 points every week. It helps me a lot.
See, I take him every week in that league that we pick a new lineup every week, and you can't go wrong.
And Saquon, look at a guy that is finally healthy with legs the size of tree trunks. What can happen, And he's kicking out, 18 to 23 as well every week. I'm sorry, my league. Let's move on from fantasy. No one wants to actually hear the stats, but both have been playing well this year.
The other two guys took Chargers also. Money line. Next game, San Francisco at Carolina. San Francisco 6.5 point favorites. Total is 39. Man, I've given San Francisco a lot of crap this year. Jimmy G looked terrible a couple games ago, but this last game they looked pretty good. I took San Francisco 6.5 point favorites there. Carolina looks terrible. Seems like Baker Mayfield's kind of lost the grace of everybody, and now all the rumors of Matt Rule, possibly looking for a college job. I just don't see good things in Carolina at the moment. Go ahead.
More what? Like Matt Drool. What?
That's right. That's right.
I'll be honest, man.
Go ahead.
I'm almost wanting to parlay two things on this game just based on stats alone. And maybe one of you two can convince me by the end of this with your arguments, but I have San Fran covering 6.5 and the under of 39 here. San Fran's defense has been playing lights out so far this year. Carolina's offense has been terrible. With these two teams, the unders is 7-1 this year. They're 3-0 under Jimmy G. So, I mean, you're not going to say, well, new quarterback, he's going to be able to. Jimmy G is covering the unders with ease. Baker and Rule, the combination of them, have now extended their streak of not covering the spread in 8 straight games. I mean, I could see this one being, San Fran 24, Panthers 0. I mean, I almost want to parlay that and give it 2 picks, to be honest.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Are you able to tease single games?
That I'm not sure. I guess I haven't checked. I guess what do you mean? Sorry.
If you do a teaser, you can usually get 6 points. So it would basically be San Francisco minus 0.5 point, and the total being 45.
Man, I honestly, now that you say that San Fran, no offense, San Fran 0.5 point, I just look back at the Denver-San Fran game where it was 11-10. But Denver has a lot better defense. You know what? I'm going to commit. I still think San Fran covers, to be honest. I'm going to commit to that under 39 because I don't think Baker has it in him to put up a lot of points, and that San Fran defense has been playing lights out.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can go wrong. That's not many points, but, man, Carolina just seems like they're just kind of in the dumpster right now.
Yep.
Trent, are you taking San Francisco to win?
I am. Carolina – I thought would be way better this year with Baker.
I did too.
Honestly did. I heard rumblings with them going back to Sam Darnold. San Francisco, I thought with Jimmy G, they were going to be awful. I pulled out my phone Monday night at the concert and just looked to see what the score was of the Monday night game. And I'm like, 49ers are kicking the shit out of the Rams. Okay. So that's why I've got them here, and it's on the road for San Francisco, but yeah, Mayfield just hasn't looked good this year. I thought he would really help them, but like I said in our group text, San Francisco kicking the shit out of the Rams on Monday does not do good for Brock Purdy. Is going to start by week 9.
I don't think that was going to be a good bet anyway.
What's that supposed to mean, Ryan?
If Jimmy got hurt, that would be fine, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I didn't say it had to be taking his job.
No, I understand, but I just
I mean, Ryan, you're talking to a guy that's been picking money lines all year, and this has got to be his biggest bet of all. I mean, the odds got to be like plus 5,000 the opposite way of his closest bet. I mean,
that is true. I shouldn't belittle him. It's about time he gives his balls a tug and puts a real bet out there.
All right.
Put him on the table for everyone to see.
I didn't know there were rules to this, but okay.
No,
now
I
you
just
tell me 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
Just because I'm going to be leading after this week, you guys are upset. Weren't upset when I was in third, were you?
I will just say this right now. If you put the money that you put down, $5, $10 or whatever, on my bets, if you had put $10 a bet on every single one of these spreads that I've put in at 36 and 27, you'd be up over $400. So
I'm putting down $5 a bet on these money lines. And what are we? 36 and what?
36 and 27.
Yeah, and I'm down. Yeah, it sucks. You don't win anything. You don't win.
Well, you're taking a minus 1,000 odd or minus 960 odd this week.
Okay, that's been the biggest plus minus of the year.
Yeah, no.
You're acting like every game is like that.
I would joke like those games you don't lose. And then I told you about my bad betting in college football last week, and I lost them minus 600 with Georgia Tech upsetting Pitt. So we're not going to act like those games don't happen, but NFL it's a lot tougher.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other guys also took San Francisco money line, so there's a trend there. Next game, I don't know the California geography, so I'm just gonna say right across the bay. I don't know how close Los Angeles is to San Francisco.
Not
right across the bay, down the road. Dallas at the Rams. 5.5 point favorites. The Rams are. The total is 43.5. I took the Rams for some stupid reason. It's not good reasoning. I'm just gonna say I took the Rams. Somebody go ahead.
Go ahead, Bryant.
Damn it! I was going to try and pull up a map here just so we can help our poor friend.
I'm looking at.
Don't worry, I'm pulling it up right now for you, just so you can learn something here. Trent, if you want to share my screen here, I have the map pulled up. That's where Los Angeles is. So I don't know if it's with the bay or anything, but you can just say on the water. How about that?
It's only it's only a 6-hour drive.
Oh,
all right, there we go.
It's only about 400 miles.
Okay, so not right across the bay. Okay, I get it now.
Okay. Oh fuck. For me, I'm gonna jump in here. I got Dallas plus 5.5 here. Ride the Red Rush, dude. He is 4-0 in his career, straight up. 3-0 against the spread this year. Los Angeles 1-3 against the spread this year. The Stafford in that offense right now, they're not playing well, man. I mean, and not just against San Fran either. I mean, Atlanta put a hell of a fight up with them as well. That's why they're part of their 4-0 against the spread.
Cooper Rush has to fall down from grace at some point, though, doesn't he?
Not this week. Us redheads got to stick together, my friend.
I just feel like he has to have one.
No redhead slander.
I didn't say anything bad about his hair. I'm a big Andy Dalton guy, mainly because he was from TCU. But I mean, I've got nothing against his hair. Plus, I don't even think Trent has red hair anymore. So
it's not that I don't have red hair. It's I don't have any hair. Okay.
So I apologize, Trent. What's your deal here?
I got Dallas. Cooper Rush is keeping it going. Los Angeles losing the 49ers like that last week did not give me any confidence in them winning this game, even at home. Dallas is hot right now. I am cheering for Cooper Rush here just to make more drama in Dallas. Because what are they going to do when Dak's grip strength or whatever is good to go? Like they got to
hand.
Yeah. They got to keep rolling with Cooper Rush, right? Because if they go with Dak and they lose, you know, people are going to want Cooper Rush back. So
Dak is coming back next week, isn't it?
Yeah, they're talking on football this morning on NFL Network. It's all about his grip strength, and it's like, is that an excuse for them to just keep holding him out while Cooper Rush is playing well?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you too much about that. I don't know what the grip strength of a quarterback needs to be. I was going to ask
27 psi.
27 psi. Really hold that thing.
What is it if you deflate the ball a little bit?
Yeah, you need a little bit more pressure, but you can clamp down a little bit more too.
Yep.
What's the best quarterback controversy we've had in a while? Because if Cooper Rush keeps winning, that's going to be a lot tougher for them if Dak plays terribly. Would you say Trey Lance and Jimmy G would be as big?
Kirk Cousins and Nate Stanley.
Yeah. The only quarterback controversy between those two is Nate Stanley actually a quarterback? And
Nate Stanley played in the first preseason game and balled out. And everyone's like, oh my God, we need to have Nate Stanley as our starting quarterback. He is so much better than Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he didn't even make it past the next preseason game.
I mean, you remember Slaughterhouse too, is right? Kyle Slaughter. Yeah, that was the next. You Vikings fans love to get hyped over a quarterback in the preseason, my friends.
They love to get hyped over quarterbacks that aren't on the organization. I saw on Reddit today, oh my gosh, we need to go for Cooper Rush once Dak's back. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll be honest, Jerry won't let him go. He'll overpay for it. You're starting to see right now where having a quality backup quarterback and overpaying a little bit for it is kind of worth your money right now. Immediately, Cleveland, you're not worried. You're going to have Brissett. He's just going to be able to coast. I think the Panthers, if they went from Baker to Sam Darnold, they're not going to worry. Or even Matt Corral. He's wasn't first round pick. I apologize. But Sam Darnold, you're not going to worry about them. I mean, the Saints, when they had Andy Dalton, I think a lot of people were like, it's still Andy Dalton. He was a starter for how many years in the league? I mean, you're starting to see this money paying off.
We have Nick Mullins as our backup, and he got, I think, in his first full year of starting, more yards than Patrick Mahomes did. So, I mean,
he's got those like crazy stats where it's just like, the first 10 games, and it's like, it's like Hall of Famer Mahomes, Mullins, Hall of Famer. It's like, what the fuck? This guy quality backup.
Yeah, just put him in the Hall. Start making his bust now for the Hall of Fame.
Which I don't want him. I don't want him to be our starter, but I feel a lot better about him backing up Kirk than I ever did Sean Mannion.
If they ever have a Hall of backup quarterbacks, Chase Daniel is 1-1.
First ballot.
Yep. Fitzmagic.
Ooh, yeah, he's Fitzmagic or
he might have started too many games to be in that though.
Yeah, he was borderline mediocre, like starting quarterback, but tremendous backup because they always put him behind some young rookie starter, the first rounder. But everyone that they put him behind, they got hurt, so he was just always in at that point.
Yep. I don't know where we are as far as our discussion on this game.
Philly, I'll just keep going here.
The other two I know took the Rams. I was going to bring this up though. Like, was Coach KOC the brains behind the Rams?
It's looking more like it every week.
Mm-hmm.
Because he came up with all the plays. He came up with the game plans. McVay was the one who called the plays. What I was very impressed about with KOC was during the Lions game when they were getting behind and trying to figure out how to move the ball. KOC was making plays up as the game went. So it's not like he went to his play card and said, okay, we're going to try this. He was actually designing plays throughout the game. And that is, to me, that's impressive.
I mean, you're saying KOC is he might have been the brain behind everything. I think KOC was the head and the shaft of the organization.
Yeah, I'm honored for him to be my shaft and head.
There you go. There you go.
Clark and I need to go with whiskey This is good stuff.
Yeah, I'm down one IPA pretty smooth. Thankfully, we only got 3 picks left here.
I need to hurry up then. What do we? Okay, Eagles and Cardinals. Eagles are 5.5 now. Total is 49. I got the Eagles at 5. Until somebody beats them, and I'm not betting against the Eagles until someone beats them. That's all it is to it.
I agree. Philly, I have it at 5.5 right now. Right now, Philly, they're just too hot. They're getting ahead early, and the big thing that I guess you can look at it both ways, that Arizona has been behind so many times that they're getting used to playing it, but they're relying too much on these second half heroics. But Arizona is 2-2 on the year, but their heroics, they've had to score 23 points in the second half versus Carolina and 23 points versus Oakland, and neither one of those teams are good teams. Well, I mean, let's just be frank with it. And then, when they're versus actual good teams, and we have a small sample size of the Chiefs and the Rams, they score 6 against the Rams in the second half. In Kansas City, they have 14 points, but it's in garbage time. So, I really don't trust Arizona at all. I mean, we shit on Kyler Murray enough, so I'm not going to hit on that.
I'm not going to say his name this week.
K1. One thing that will be interesting, though, this should be a fun game to watch. Philadelphia, they're +8 in the turnovers this season. Arizona, they're tied for second at +4, so they're +12 combined in turnovers. It'll be interesting to see if that causes enough chaos. Maybe Arizona can come back and keep it within a field goal.
I hear Philly's got a bunch of dogs. That's the main thing.
Maybe.
Trent, go ahead.
I've got Philly in this. I don't trust Arizona. I don't know what video game came out this week, but Kyler Murray, K1, whatever you want to call him, he ain't. I don't know. They haven't been playing well, and I'm going to keep picking Philly until they lose. I mean, they look good right now. They're solid.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Yeah. I like how I'm the one who always craps on Special K, and I'm the only one who hasn't said his name tonight. The other 2 guys also took Philadelphia. So we move on to the Bengals and the Ravens. Ravens are 3-point favorites. Total is 48.5. I actually went with the Bengals +3. I know, right? Bengals are allowing 17.5 points per game compared to the Ravens 25. They won their first game against the beat up Miami. Hopefully they gain some confidence. And I don't know why they're not getting Jamar Chase involved more. I mean, they've got 3 great wide receivers, so I don't see how they can be doubling Chase, but they need to get Chase involved more. But I'm going to go with Cincinnati +3. Bryant, tell me why I'm an idiot.
I have the under 48.5 here. The unders are 6-2 for these teams this year, including 4-0 for Cincinnati. So, and like you said, they're not really. I don't know if it's schematics or why they're not getting Chases involved. I know last week he had a few catches, but it was not. It's not the typical Jamar Chase, and maybe people are starting to figure out with their scheme as well. And again, their line is. I would say it's slightly improved. I'll try and be optimistic with the Bengals, but their line is still not great. I think they're really coaching in because last year, how did Joe Burrow pull out all these fourth quarter heroics, and how did Jamar Chase succeed? Because there was a bunch of 70-yard bombs where they had just that connection since LSU. They're able to throw it deep, or a cornerback just stops tracking him because he's going. The play's been going on for 8 seconds. We're going to sack him, or he's going to throw it away, and they catch some of these. So I think a lot of these quarters have smartened up, and if they're man-on-man versus them, they're just going to keep following. They're going to play that until the whistle, as they should. But I just think with this one, I'm not too confident in the Bengals this year. I think Baltimore's defense controls them as well. I mean, what was Baltimore last week? It was 23-20 versus Buffalo, wasn't it? Does anyone happen to know off the top of their head?
Something like that.
Buffalo, Baltimore.
Off the top of my head, no.
Sorry. Yeah, 23-20, and that's with
Yep.
Josh Allen and a very good Buffalo team. And again, that's also a very good Buffalo defense versus Lamar Jackson. I just think I just think it's going to hit under. That is a very high over under 48.5. I think it's under with ease.
Trent, who'd you take this one?
I have Baltimore in this one. This
Clark.
was. Oh, that's not okay, guys. Like Clark's joining. What? But no. I took Baltimore in this one. This was another game that was tough for me. I don't know. Cincinnati, I don't know if they're finally coming around. I mean, they beat the Dolphins last week. Baltimore, they've been scoring points. What have they? They've scored 24, 38, 37, and 20 points in their games this year. So they're scoring a lot of points. So I took Baltimore in this. They've played a lot of close games and scored a lot of points. So, and they're at home.
Real quick, if we can go backtrack, I feel so good about finding the stat on my own. We talked about second half heroics versus Arizona. ESPN is just doing a stat with the Cardinals offense right now. In the first half, they've only scored 16 points. In the second half, they've scored 66 points. So I mean, they really rely on those second half heroics. It might even be worth on the Arizona game here. Let me see here, Philadelphia. Give me, if you don't mind, if we just backtrack real quick, because that might be worth knowing how little they score in the first half. It might be worth taking a first half cover as well. Arizona, first half. I mean, Philadelphia is only a 3-point favorite in the first half. While we go on to the game, I'm putting that one in right now. Philadelphia covering 3 when they've only scored 16 points in 4 games in the first half. Done. Easy.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a very good point. I saw today Joe Burrow came out and said that he's played through concussions and blackouts throughout his career.
Really?
Not a good time to admit that, Joe.
No, not good timing. But I think that just kind of shows that the protocol is somewhat of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, we know it's a joke. I mean, the big example is Tua, but I think you're going to keep seeing more people advocate being open about it because, I mean, you just got to admit it. Like you say, I mean, playing with concussions, it's the inner competitor with you, and they're probably, let's be honest, yeah, they have these strict rules. They're going to be lax when it's no offense, a starting Joe Burrow quarterback versus, backup lineman. Nah, let's just get a next guy in. They're going to, does this guy have a pulse? Let's get him back in there at this point.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you still looking that up, or should we move on?
Oh, yeah, you can move on. Sorry, I just wanted to cover that Arizona one. I just got the bet in too.
Okay. I guess before we move on, Clark, you had the Cincinnati money line. He's kind of with me on there, and Joey took the Baltimore money line. So, all right, the final game, Monday Night Football, AFC Best. Chiefs versus Raiders. Chiefs 7-point favorites. 50.5 is the total. Homer Bryant, take it for the Chiefs.
This screwed me last week because I should have just had the Chiefs covering, and I'll be honest, I should have the Chiefs covering on this one as well. This could be another dual Chiefs covering, and I think the over is going to hit as well, 51. The over has hit 4-0 the last 2 seasons with these two teams, and the Raiders' only win is Denver. Their defense is putrid. I'm going to switch it. I think the over still hits as well, but my official pick is Kansas City -7.
I'm with you.
I would honestly be okay with that, almost up to Kansas City -10 or -13. These Raiders have shown me nothing all year.
I am 100% with you. Patrick Mahomes was just a whole nother level this last game. It was amazing. And that was against a team that should be better. The Raiders have not done a whole lot. The defenses, they look pretty similar, but the Chiefs are better defensively by a little bit, but on offense, it's just a big difference between the two. So I am definitely taking the -7. Kansas City's, I think their schedule has been quite a bit tougher too. With the exception of that loss to Indy, I don't think they're going to overlook a divisional opponent. Kansas City by 14.
If they overlook the Raiders, they can just play the video last year of them stomping on the logo, and then we just absolutely eviscerate them.
Hey, you got your quarterback's brother stomping on Memorial, so I don't want to hear it.
No, that was taken out of context.
He may as well have just done a river dance on top of the grave that's in New York. Is that Al Capone's grave in New York?
Oh, that I'm not sure.
Isn't that a myth that one of the gangsters got
Jimmy Hoffa?
Under the Giants stadium. Yeah.
Yep. Trent,
like Al Capone. Okay,
so Al Capone's got to be buried in Chicago, right?
They're all the same people, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Al Capone, Jimmy Hoffa, Wild Bill. I mean, they're all the same people. Trent, go ahead.
Kansas City. I don't. This was the easiest game of the week. I think there was just no thought. Las Vegas is terrible. Kansas City, I think, took that loss to the Colts and turned that into bulletin board material because Kansas City looked really good last week. So I think they keep this rolling. I think they looked like the best team in the AFC, after last week. So I think they keep it rolling.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that's going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't see the Raiders winning more than one game in a row at a time. I don't know, and especially now with their next opponent being Kansas City. But
yeah.
All right, that's the 16 games for the week.
What the other two have?
Oh, they also had Kansas City. I said everyone's going to agree with that. I just said no one's going to disagree with that, Trent.
Gotcha.
You got to read between the lines.
I mean, look, just real quick. So you said Rams will not win more than one game in a row the rest of the season.
Raiders.
Raiders. What's that? Raiders. Sorry, I just misspoke. The Raiders. Yeah, I mean, their schedule at Kansas City, loss. Texans, toss-up.
Win.
At Saints, toss-up. At Jags, Colts, that should be a win. Then at Broncos, divisional game. At Seattle versus Chargers. At Rams, Patriots at home. At Steelers, Niners, Chiefs. I mean, maybe two if you get to the Colts, Broncos, Seattle stretch there. But yeah, I mean, considering we were talking about if the Raiders had they're a dark horse to win the division, and now they're 0-4. I mean, I'm sorry, 1-3, misspoke there. But yeah, that is going to be a rough year for them.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Any other thoughts from you guys going over this top 6 or the 16 games?
No, I think I'm pretty well spent on all the stats I kicked out to you.
Appreciate it. One thing I was going to mention at the beginning, but I mentioned we kind of have a partnership not really partnership, but we're working with Let's Talk Sports. That's new as of today. This is our first actual recording with them. It may be our last with my rant on Green Bay. We'll see. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, we're working with them. Nothing's going to change on our end. We're still going to have our Monday pod. We'll do this on Wednesdays. Pod will be out Thursday for it. You guys will still do your college football.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Joey's still planning on, Joey's kind of part-time, but I don't know if he's still planning on doing combat sports. Always welcome to do that. I'm sure Trent and I will rope Kevin into doing some golf stuff again. Hopefully more from me once my busy part of the year is kind of over after the fall here. But yeah, nothing's going to change from us. It's just now we have an awesome support on our side where we might get more resources to be able to do interviews with some people, get our shows out to a larger audience. So thank you very much for Let's Go Sports for helping us out on this. Looking forward to doing more with you guys. And yeah, that's kind of my little talk there. Like I said, I meant to talk about that at the beginning, but
Yep. And if you do want to, since they are starting to help us out here, if you do want to follow up with them on Twitter, it's going to be at Let Talk Sport. It's going to be singular there. I would say it probably it won't be sports at the end there. So at Let Talk Sport. And then, like we said, it's just going to be more promotion on our side. Hopefully, some more resources here and continue growing this thing.
Absolutely. All right, fellas, thanks for joining this week, and have fun on your pod tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Or your YouTube live tomorrow.
Yep, I would say we'll be doing the YouTube live, same time as always, 8:30 on Thursday, doing college sports. Kind of towards the end, we're going to be doing a little more gambling talk as well, kind of like this road to 272. So just make sure you like and subscribe us on all of our socials. Instagram, Twitter is going to be at Heartland Pulse, and then Facebook and YouTube is going to be Pulse of the Heartland.
All right, and I will personally see everyone Monday. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.